The Cowboys started voluntary workouts this week, and that it is exactly what it sounds like. It is voluntary. You'll have some guys be there. You will have some guys not be there. One of the big topics that we've talked about this offseason, when the departure of DeMarcus Lawrence happened, Micah Parsons tweeted out, "It's my time now." And then you had DeMarcus Lawrence have his comments, and Micah just really being very vocal about wanting to be a leader and wanting to be that person that takes the next step in his leadership. We know where I stand on. You don't have to tell me that you're a leader. Just be a leader. And one of the things that we were all looking at, myself included, was with the contract extension looming for Micah Parsons, wanting to be the highest non-paid quarterback, wanting to be the vocal leader, or at least on defense, and one of the vocal leaders on this team. What'd he show? What'd he show for voluntary workouts? And he did. Monday when they started, he was in the building. Tuesday he was in the building, and he came in, and that's the first step for him, showing to be a good leader. And so that was good. That was good to see Micah there. Now I'm gonna be on recording saying this. If we get to minicamp and OTAs and the on the field stuff, because this is literally what it sounds like. Voluntary workouts. It's you come in, you work out, you condition. The other part about it is coach will kind of leave some notes, just giving you kind of a player's inside behind the scenes. Because you can't interact with your coaches on the field. Like y'all can't be on the field doing stuff. That happens in mini camps and OTAs and things of that nature. But what a coach can do is like, hey, and this is when guys like Sanborn, who was under the regime of Eberflus, right? Middle linebacker comes in. Eberflus goes, "Hey, Sam, I want to start implementing some of the things that we're running. What coverages we're running? What does that look like? What does that sound like? Let's get lined up. Let's do a walkthrough." You don't have to go anything extensive, but coaches would leave like little notes in lockers. So when you get done with your workout, if there's guys in the locker room, defense, all the guys that are here in defense, let's go outside for 30 minutes and walk through this stuff. This is what, cover 3, cover 2, this is what it is, what it looks like, so that when you get to the OTAs and the mini camps, that you kind of have a little bit of an understanding of what it is. And then you have guys like Sanborn, who's able to kind of put guys in place and then give them an understanding and a little bit of a teaching of what it will look like or what coach wants it to look like. And so the leadership things come into play for Micah and others like that, is being in the building when all this is happening. Now, I wouldn't kick his back in if he wasn't at, voluntary workouts. CD Lamb's not at voluntary workouts. He's in Miami training. Most guys, depending on how you feel, you come, you don't, you don't. But I want to be on record as saying, if they get to a point in time where they get to minicamp and OTAs and Micah still doesn't have a deal, I wouldn't show up if I was him. I'm not going to get on any one of my platforms and be like, Micah not a good leader because on the field stuff is where you can tear a knee, an ankle, something, an Achilles, and that can mess up your money. Working out, everybody's going to have to work out. If you get a freak accident working out, then such is life. But to do on-the-field activities, I've seen Sean Lee tear his ACL walking through in practice. Just doing a simple walkthrough, non-contact. We've seen Tyron Smith tear hamstring from the bone. Doing non-contact on-the-field practice stuff. No one touched him. And so those things can easily happen. So I would not blame Micah Parsons one bit if he didn't show when it came time for OTAs and minicamp because his contract wasn't done. But I will say, so far, I see Brian Schottenheimer trying to build that culture thing. We talk about culture so much and so often about building the culture. What is the culture of the Cowboys? What does that look like? How does that grow? How does that get better? How do we have a better culture where we're not 53 different brands, but we're one brand with 53 people who are contributing to it? And day one of the voluntary workouts, Brian Schottenheimer had a crawfish boil. Shout out to Matt Pittman at Meat Church, who's an official sponsor of the Cowboys. He came out and did a crawfish boil where everybody came and ate after the workouts. The second day on Tuesday, they went paintballing. So trying to create this culture and this camaraderie within the locker room for these type of events. And it happens that way. These are the times where you build with that, and guys are loving on each other and coming together, and you're just getting to know your teammates, guys who are free agents, guys who are taking the next steps. This is the way that you're doing it. So I commend Brian Schottenheimer for his willingness and his trying to build that team camaraderie, to build that team culture, so that because this is going to be a tough season. Right now, Vegas has them, over under 7.5 wins. 7.5 wins, I mean, that's a lot of losing. That's a lot of losing that you're going to have to be doing. And the only way that you're going to be able to overcome that is to get players to play at their peak performance, to get players who are average to play above average, a little bit of luck, and a whole lot of belief. A whole lot of belief to get out of that deep, deep, deep hole that you may be in this season, because a lot of people don't believe that you're going to be contending with the way that Washington looks and Philadelphia looks, that you're going to be contending for real deal playoff contention. But it's a long season. We're just in April. Things can happen. I don't wish injury on anybody, but if you've been around long enough, injuries pop up, and that can derail a season for any team, right? Like for any team. I don't want to call names, but other quarterbacks and other top players from other teams can go down at any point in time, and that season looks a lot different than what we thought it would look. I mean, look at the Cowboys. The season looked a lot different once Dak Prescott and company went out. You kind of really lost hope on what they would be able to do.